So we had in the recent weeks the actual agreement between the countries happen. Now it goes back to be ratified by these different countries. Do you actually? It seems like it's moving along, but it's still up in the air whether or not it's actually going to be ratified here in the U.S. Talk about your thoughts on whether you think it's actually going to ultimately pass here in the United States.
Well, first of all, it's a very long process. Right now, we have not yet had the president even announce to Congress his intention to sign the agreement. And that actually starts a 90-day clock. The president has to announce that intention before signing it for 90 days. So right now, even if he announced that intention today, you could not sign the TPP as the executive branch until January. And then there's a process by which Congress gets to take a look at it. So we're talking months down the road. This will not be voted on in 2015. This is probably something for the spring of 2016. The other major part of that timeline is that 60 days before signing an agreement, the U.S. Trade Representative's Office must post the text of the agreement on a public website. And, that's obviously going to change our views or the public view on TPP, because we're going to see everything in the agreement. Now, we did see WikiLeaks released a very up-to-date portion of the agreement. It was the intellectual property chapter, which showed that copyrights will be increased to 50, perhaps even 70 years, that biologic drugs, which are these very high-cost, life-saving drugs, will have an exclusivity period from between 5 and 8 years, and it's kind of ambiguous whether it's 5, whether it's 8. But some of these countries had 0 years of exclusivity for these drugs, which are very expensive, and so that could reduce access to medicines in poor countries. So we're going to get a lot of these details, and when we get these details and how they are used by either side is going to, in many ways, determine whether we're going to have an agreement or not.
Yeah, and it is definitely, again, whatever your opinion on Hillary Clinton and whether or not she flip-flops on something like the TPP, it definitely is if you're against the TPP, which most people listening to this show are, it's a positive sign that your sort of centrist candidate, Hillary Clinton, felt that she needed to come out against it. And so that gives a whole lot of, it definitely gives cover for everyone on any potential Democrat in the House on the left, but also perhaps even some centrist Democrats who well, if Hillary's against it, why should I put my neck out for this horrible, horrible trade deal?
Absolutely, and it's very helpful because not only is Hillary Clinton going to be facing the voters by the time that this actually gets voted on in Congress, so is the entire House of Representatives. And so those members of the House will have to think about, well, I'm actually going to have to be up for re-election. I could face a primary over this. And that's true on the left and the right, by the way, because there are large factions on the right, particularly like the House Freedom Caucus, the people that got rid of John Boehner and they're causing all this trouble in the House of Representatives right now. Most of their members are against the TPP and against Trade Promotion Authority in general. So that it bodes a lot of problems on the left and the right. Trent Lott reportedly said, the quote is attributed to him, that trade deals don't pass in even-numbered years. And that's because the voters actually have to, they get a say in who's going to be their elected representative in an even-numbered year. And you don't want to pass something that's going to anger them at that time. So you could definitely envision this getting blocked in Congress. I mean, probably not in the Senate. I think the Senate is not where the action is on this. The House really barely passed Trade Promotion Authority, and there are already members of the House on the Republican side that have turned against this agreement. mainly over a provision that disallows tobacco companies to use the investor-state dispute settlement process to then sue national governments if that government puts in place anti-smoking laws or public health laws. First of all, it's very weird that we're not okay with allowing carcinogens from cigarette smoke into the air and allowing those companies to sue to stop those laws, but we're allowing oil companies or coal companies to pollute the air in the same way, and then sue governments potentially if laws that are too stringent are put in place. So it's really you talk about hypocrisy, you talk about a strange situation, a double standard. It's certainly in place for that, and there are Republicans in tobacco states that are turning against the agreement for this very reason. So I would say if the TPP was put up for a vote today in the House, it would not pass. And so the administration has a lot of work to do. And the fact that you have Hillary Clinton from the center and all the way to the left pretty strongly opposed to this agreement, it narrows the ability for the administration to pick up votes from the Democratic side of the aisle if they're losing them on the Republican side.